decreases the effective volume of the reservoir.
Now, details of an upcoming JoyNews documentary reveal illegal mining communities springing up along the dam and its reservoirs as Bui Power Authority calls for urgent security raids against illegal miners on Black Volta.
To take an urgent action to raid all illegal miners upstream the Bui generating station. Beyond the effect of the galamseyers on the dam, it goes to affect also the livelihood around the ecology of the area as well.
And this afternoon, Gold Board data shows nearly all of Ghana's small-scale gold exports in 2025 were sent to just 2 countries. We examine how this heavy reliance exposes Ghana to potential external shocks originating from these markets. And coming up in the bulletin, commuters in Accra continue to spend long hours in queues for transport despite the government's ongoing efforts to tackle the transport crisis. We have details as Cuts International urges the government to develop a clear and standardized framework to determine commercial transport fares. We are live on DSTV channel 421, GoTV channel 125, and around the world on myjoyonline.com. Please stay for details. I appreciate your company this afternoon. First in the news, half of the Ashanti region may be cut off from the national grid if illegal mining activities at the Bui Dam, built to power industries and homes across the nation, continue. Illegal mining activities along the dam continue to silt the reservoirs, threatening its lifespan. In a documentary, JoyNews' Nanaya Jima exposes how the sustainability of the nation's energy security is being choked by environmental destruction. Here are excerpts of the documentary.
Even before the boat will dock, the noise from the Shamfan engines is heard about 300 meters from the mining area. Upon sighting the boat, which looked different from those plying the route, some of the illegal miners halted operations and most of them took to their heels. Others threw caution to the wind, perpetrating the illegality with impunity. They mine along the banks of the reservoir of the Bui Dam. The area being mined, according to sources, is an extension of the dam in the rainy season. Here, the mining operations mainly involve the digging of small pits about 4 to 5 feet deep and the same size wide. Simple tools like hoes and pickaxes are the main tools deployed for the activity. From the soil dug, they wash for the precious metal. With some fan machines, they pump water from the dam to wash the sand for the gold deposit. This wastewater is diverted back into the dam, leading to the siltation and pollution of the dam. Acting Deputy Chief Executive Officer of the Bui Power Authority, Samuel Nimakumbuatin, says the menace is causing siltation of the dam's reservoirs.
When the Gansey activities is done, especially the upstream, what happens is that it causes siltation of the river. That decreases the effective volume of the reservoir. So if, let's say, we are expecting the reservoir to contain about 100 meter cube of water, because of this galamsey activity, it will rather reduce it to about 80. And then when it reduces to 80, it means that you have limited amount of water to generate power, and that will affect the power generation.
But the miners insist their activities in the river and its banks cannot harm the dam. One of their leaders, Etu, claims they mine sustainably.
So careful wimpo nankasa ako animu nti ukase wenye de we betimi akozo sa problem na bi de we de intimi.
Another leader who also gives his name as Abodie is unable to confirm or denying whether their activity pollutes the dam. He says the leadership of the miners often patrol the banks of the river to check against the washing of their tailings into the dam.
But ubesan ko na alikia fa baby nti etom da bi kura na ye no mo ye bom hard wo.
According to Abodie, in the rainy season, their mining committee ensures all the dugout sand is sent far from the reach of the dam's overflow point. By this measure, he says the sand is not washed directly into the dam.
It has no season, time and soon better. Nti sensu no beto ayema omo baki anwani nyina eba echiri se na be ya yensu nya problem because hona me de me nya na no de na ede edidi nti bosu se be mesere meka ye ka se ye fi gu nse no ma dise ebia sisia but nti mka se enokran se nyina kore.
The generation of hydroelectric power depends on rainfall patterns to sustain the water levels in the dam. With illegal mining silting the dams and the erratic rainfall due to climate change, many are pointing to a national emergency in dealing with the situation.
Now, speaking to Joy News, the public relations officer of the authority, Maoli Fui Kwejovia, called for urgent coordinated security operations to raid and flush out all illegal miners operating upstream of the Bui generating station. According to the authority, the continuous illegal mining activities not only threaten the structural integrity of the power plant, but also pose serious risk to the lives of communities living around the Black Volta, while severely affecting the ecology of the area.
The issue of galamsey around the Bui generating station is a critical one, as it tends to affect the production of power at the Bui site. Currently, you notice that the activity of galamseyers upstream the dam are causing some form of siltation and sedimentation at the reservoir. So that must be checked now. In the past, we've had some collaborations with the Ghana Army, the Navy, and co. Now, NAIMOS is the anti-galamsey secretariat, is a new task force, and we are collaborating with them as well as with the Ghana Army and Navy as well again. But we need to take an urgent action to raid all illegal miners upstream the Bui generating station. Beyond the effect of the galamseyers on the dam, it goes to affect also the livelihood around the place, the ecology of the area as well. Urgent action must be taken now to eradicate illegal mining around the Bui dam. To safeguard the integrity of the plant, and then two, to protect lives and livelihood of people who depend on the Black Volta. You would notice that there are two major hydro dams in this country, the Akosombo Dam, and the second one is the Bui Dam. Now, the Bui Dam is a strategic national asset that has been built to actually improve power generation in this country. Power currently is stable in the country. There's a high demand for power. So if Bui should shut down because of issues of galamsey, due to sedimentation, due to cavitation of the plant and all that, then it means parts of this country will go off into darkness. So an urgent action must be taken now to safeguard that plant from shutting down.
Now, operatives of the National Anti-Illegal Mining Operations Secretariat, NAIMOS, on Saturday carried out a series of raids to clamp down on illegal mining activities along the Kumasi-Sunyani Highway. The operation, which began at about 8:20 a.m., started at Bronikrom near Mankraso in the Ashanti region, where the task force cleared an illegal mining site located about 30 meters away from the highway between Bronikrom and Mankraso, before advancing towards Edu Jama and into the Ehafo region. Illegal miners at the initial site fled upon seeing the task force, abandoning an excavator and other equipment. The task force immobilized the excavator by removing its monitor, batteries, and other vital components. The team leader moved to Kunsu in the Ahafo, North South-West district, where preliminary investigation shows that illegal miners had also fled to avoid arrest. At the site, the task force flushed out remaining operators, destroyed some items, and immobilized another excavator, which had already been tampered with and was missing its monitor and control board. Acting on intelligence, the task force proceeded to another illegal mining site at Adeji Minim, a suburb of Duayao Nkwanta. Upon arrival, the team observed that the Tana River runs along the mining site and has been heavily relied upon for illegal mining activities, resulting in severe pollution of the river. Now, the task force destroyed makeshift structures used by the miners as hideouts and burned a multi-purpose heavy-duty water pumping machine found at the site. Commenting on the operation, the director of operations at NAIMOS said the task force will continue its operations in the Bono and Ahafo regions to restore the Tana River to its once pristine state. He added that plans were underway to permanently deploy security personnel at strategic locations within the enclave to ensure continuous surveillance. Now let's talk about gold. Now, new data obtained by JoyNews Research shows that nearly all the Ghana's small-scale gold exports in 2025 were sent to just two countries, the United Arab Emirates and India. The figures released following a right to information request into the operations of Gold Board indicate that the UAE alone received about 75,000 kilograms of gold, accounting to over 70% of total exports. India received roughly a quarter of Ghana's small-scale gold exports, while the remaining 1.2% was shared among China, the United States, Switzerland, and 5 other countries. The data highlights a high concentration in Ghana's gold export markets, raising concerns about the country's vulnerability to external trade shocks. More in the following report by JoyNews Research.
Out of a total of 103,804 kilograms of small-scale gold exported through Gold Board during the year, Dubai alone accounted for more than 72%, making it by far the dominant destination. India followed with about 25%. Together, Dubai and India absorbed 98.8% of Ghana's total gold exports in 2025. The remaining 1.2% was spread across 8 other countries, with Switzerland and South Africa have generated more than $10 billion in foreign exchange, providing key support for the cedi and helping stabilize the currency during the year. However, analysts warn that same concentration that has helped support the cedi also leaves it vulnerable.
Away from gold, the Minister of Transport, Joseph Bukari Nikbe, is currently locked in a closed-door meeting with private transport operators in Accra as part of efforts to find a possible resolution to recent transport challenges in Accra and other parts of the country. Now, despite government assurances to resolve the issue through the procurement of new buses, the challenge persists, hitting commuters hard and leaving many frustrated daily. Now, checks by JoyNews across various parts of the city today saw many commuters stranded as they waited for commercial vehicles. Now, following this development, the minister is holding private discussion with some transport operators in a bid to find solution to the challenge. Let's now go live to the Transport Ministry, where my colleague Fatal Bayaga is standing by with more. Fatal, has a meeting concluded, and what can you report?
The meeting has not concluded yet. We're told that this meeting started around 9 a.m. and they are still locked up in that meeting. What are they in this meeting for? They are looking for solutions to the continuous transport challenges within the city of Accra. On Friday, the minister held a meeting with these transport operators, including GPRTU, Concerned, Commuter, among others, in relation to this particular challenge. The meeting concluded, or did not conclude well, because the vice president came and they had to, halt the meeting, and then it was rescheduled to today. During that particular meeting, some of the private road operators spoke about the fact that their major challenge has to do with high cost of spare parts, and many of their vehicles are currently under repairs, and that is contributing to this particular challenge. They also spoke about the fact that they also need budgetary allocation in order to keep their vehicles on the roads, just like Metromas, STC, among others. So they couldn't get time to exhaust all of that, and it was rescheduled to today. So it's been hours, and they are still engaged in this particular meeting, and we are here monitoring all the developments.
Well, thank you so much, Fatau. And you want to stay with us because Fatau will bring us the fallout of that meeting, if not on this bulletin, in our subsequent bulletin. But my colleague Jama Apia visited some bus terminals and has filed this report.
It's past 9 a.m. On a Monday morning, and commuters are still in long, winding queues, hoping to get a vehicle to get to work. Let me get closer to some of the commuters who have been in the queue for a very long time and speak to them about this transport challenges. Thank you so much for joining us on the Joy News channel. How long have you been in this queue? How many minutes?
Oh, about 30 minutes. About 30 minutes.
Who can hear? Ajengano.
Yeah.
Na situation sana etie de bia na say ne nkwa na etisa.
Oh, every Monday there is anote. Every Monday there everyone na line no there no ye shepa. So transport no more than 40 minutes per no rule so.
Na situation how saying?
Oh, how me pa because I just by 7:38 essentially me do adwuma. But by this time regional lie. I check by this time adwuma and me adwuma. By this thing no line na regional no.
Oye adwuma wa Ajengano.
But
See why you late?
I'm late pa, I'm late. Because at 30 minutes I'm doing no. Me I can't just go adwuma.
Time na also udu adwuma.
Oh, I just by 8 na sem go adwuma. But it's na ya bono sell regional lie. Ya bona ya sell regional lie. Say by 8 na jam go adwuma no.
You how many minutes now would the original line?
I can say 35 to 40 minutes.
40 minutes?
Yeah.
Where are you going to?
I'm going to Violage. I'm going to work.
You are going to work?
Yes, I'm an engineer.
Right.
Yeah.
How many minutes, or what time do you have to get to work?
Normally, I'm supposed to be there around 7:30 to 8. I must be there.
And it's past 9. You're still in the queue.
Yeah, because of transportation issues. So we don't know. We can also fly, but obviously we have to wait for the transport.
The situation is no different at the Ayalolo bus terminal in Amasaman. I will be speaking to some of the commuters to find out how long they have been in the queues and where they are even headed to. Only make kasa na queue no it means a long queue hanom no. What na queue no for how long?
Oh, me buy the be 1 hour ni me ginem. Ba bus na kwa a chance na aba me say trafficking na me wo problem kakra. Problem I want to say bus ni lodu wi a omo ginem no e too much sin yen ya yete ho no e basa e ma ohome eti e na obi aso ni spray a we use a wode nam. So
she's complaining about the number of people that the Ayalolo buses take when they are loading. She says the people the commuters, the number of commuters who stand in the buses are more than those who are seated. And that affects them when they are moving from one place to the other. Let me speak to more people about this particular transport crisis. Thank you. And also, how many hours and minutes?
Oh, me be jina hanum na chepa medical ko roadside no na domagu no ka bia no sipoku ase hwe me na no me ndom ko school because of that nti wan ko man ko school nti me adwuma wa chimota na esane se ka ho odi nti me kokora me ma me da madwuma weekend ne ma ba fie na me nti drivers fo ase fuel ya teso enso ese no ma ya ho kire ya mo nti nya me kan ne se aban no wa ye na fam de na mumu no nya me kan ne se on ma basasene nya mo ema ye e wo Amasama has.
So she's also saying that she's been in the queue for more than 1 hour. She actually went to the roadside to get transport, but unfortunately she couldn't get. And so she came back here to the terminal to get a car. She says her little kids are supposed to go to school, but unfortunately she's not getting a vehicle. So today is a day off for the kids. So this is the situation at the Ayalolo bus terminal. Even though the buses are coming in one after the other to transport these commuters, they are still struggling to get them quickly. And some of them are also complaining about having to be in the bus with so many people, more than what the bus can accommodate. That is affecting them as well. Reporting from the Ayalolo bus terminal in Amasaman, Gemma Apia for Joy News.
Meanwhile, CUTS International is calling on the government to develop a clear and standardized framework for determining commercial transport fares in Ghana amid growing concerns over the failure of transport operators to reduce fares despite declining fuel prices. And speaking to Joy News, the director of West Africa Regional Center of CUTS International, Kofi Adumakwapia, noted that for many years, fuel prices have served as the primary indicator for certain transport fares in the country, creating the expectation that fares should decline whenever fuel prices fall. However, this relationship has weakened, with transport unions increasingly arguing that fares are influenced not only by fuel cost, but also by spare parts and other operational expenses.
Heard that most of the union are saying that prices of transport fares are not determined by fuel price alone, but the spare part prices, and that spare parts are going up. But when you look at even the rate of the cedi to the dollar, it's also trends that spare parts should be coming down. So in this country, we always do firefighting. I think one way around this thing is that we need to be able to design a model for running of commercial cars and say that, look, fuel prices account for, let's say, 60% of the running of the car. Then that of spare parts is, let's say, 20%, and maybe other overheads. So that we know that anytime the fuel prices goes down, we know that there is a way that the prices should also have to go down. Until we do this, car owners, unions and drivers will always find way around it and always abuse the consumer.
Now, former Ghanaian Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta is scheduled for a U.S. immigration court hearing tomorrow, January 20. The hearing is expected to determine whether he'll be allowed to remain in the country temporarily or face expedited removal to Ghana. Now, joining me via phone is Mr. Frank Davids, member of Mr. Ofori-Atta's legal team. Thank you so much. Good afternoon for joining us. I hope that the former finance minister as well. We've also been told that he has been moved from the detention center. Where is he now?
Good afternoon once again to your cherished listeners and esteemed viewers. Ken Ofori-Atta is fine, doing very well. And let me make it abundantly clear that this diplomatic faux pas being displayed by a foreign minister and the ambassador is the most unfortunate. Let me put it out there, without any fear of contradiction, that Kenneth Nanaya Ofori-Atta has not been moved from the Caroline Detention Center. And for a whole ambassador to come and put this in the public space, I don't know. I don't know what it is intended to achieve. If he knows where Ken has been moved, he should tell Ghanaians. It is just not enough to say he's been moved. He's been moved where? I mean, this is an ambassador who wanted to extend consular assistance to Ken, who peddled such childish falsehood. Kenneth Ofori-Atta, I am telling you on authority, he is at the Caroline Detention Center where he was and has been and will be until tomorrow. He has not been moved anywhere. So get the ambassador to tell Ghanaians where Kenneth Ofori-Atta has been moved to. What is all this about?
Well, that's strange and interesting. And what would you think would make him want to make such comments at all?
I mean, you better ask him. I just don't know. I mean, because it's creating so much fanfare about Kenneth Ofori-Atta almost every time this person says this. What is it about care? Please. What is it about care?
He was the former finance minister.
The man was not in the country. Now charges have been prepared against him. He's not even been notified of the charges. He is not even come to stand trial. And this is what is going on. And you think any right, fair-thinking person will not think that he's been persecuted before the prosecution? Why? You ask your ambassador. Ask him, where Kenneth Okoyata is. He is an ambassador, I am not. And I can tell you on authority that Kenneth Okoyata is at the Caroline Detention Center. So ask Ambassador Smith where Kenneth Okoyata has been moved to.
Well, thank you for drawing attention to that. But so tomorrow he would be at the U.S. Immigration Court. Are there any other legal issues he's likely to face tomorrow?
I've said to you before, I'll reiterate that what is happening tomorrow is a purely immigration matter. It's got nothing to do with any extradition process, whether they call it revocation of his visa, whatever, that his visa has expired. Tomorrow is an immigration hearing for an adjustment of his immigration status in America. Simply that, nothing more, nothing less.
Interesting.
And after tomorrow, we will all know the position.
But everybody goes to court hoping to have their day in court. How is he feeling about tomorrow?
Oh, Ken is upbeat. Our counterpart lawyers in America are up to the task. We are awaiting the hearing tomorrow, which will be virtual anyway. So, all is good.
If I understand, it will be virtual. This will mean that he will be on Zoom from the current detention center where he is. The Caroline Detention Center currently, which you're just confirming to us.
He is at the Caroline Detention Center. The immigration officials will have to decide whether he would have the Zoom hearing at that facility or wherever they want him to be. I can answer to that. But so far as I know, he's at the center, and the hearing will be virtual. That's via Zoom.
Frank Davis, thank you.
Thank you very much, too.
Thank you for talking to us. Now, the District Road Improvement Program, DRIP, is facing financial bottlenecks after its national coordinator, Edwin Nilante Vanderpoel, disclosed that the initiative requires about 2.1 billion cedis to achieve its objectives this year. Mr. Vanderpoel admitted that the program initially lacked a clear operational structure before his appointment and needed the funding to set the pace for work to be done. Here are excerpts of an exclusive with my colleague, Mamiesi Nyameche Thompson.
The contract was between the government of Ghana and JA Plant Pool. And it was signed by the then Chief of Staff, Fremont Parry, and also the administrator of the District Assembly's Common Fund, Irene Atoshi, not DRIP. The equipment had been procured before DRIP was conceived.
Okay.
You understand? So I have also there has been queries to me, and I've answered appropriately. Attorney General, the Auditor General, the Fourth Estate, the National Investigation Bureau have all written to me seeking answers on the agreement, the cost, and the payments. I've referred all those ones to the Office of the President. We are praying that the funding bottleneck that we encountered in 2025 would be addressed. Once that is addressed, I can tell you, madam, you will see a bustling district assemblies in road improvement.
How much are we looking at?
We are looking at about 2.1 billion across the 276 districts. If every district in the former administration, the districts were given 500,000 a quarter, we are looking at giving the districts 750,000 a quarter. That 750,000 is going to take care of their fueling, the maintenance, the servicing, and also salaries for the operators of the equipment and the coordinators.
All right.
And we are sure once the district assemblies get this amount of money, government will not have any problem with road improvement in the districts.
Right.
I'm sure once they get this money, it will spur up economic activities within the districts. And the local economic development program of government will also be enhanced.
And I'll take you to the Ashanti region, particularly Kumasi, where temporary occupants, including car dealers, mechanic shops, taxi operators and traders along the Santasi Ahunju Road have less than 24 hours to vacate the stretch. The Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly served a final notice a week ago for the affected occupants to leave the area or the road to pave way for the road dualization project to improve vehicular traffic within Kumasi. This comes after months of notices to the traders who sought support for a relocation. Speaking to JoyNews, Kumasi City Planner Benjamin Ejenim-Boateng said the Assembly is ready to carry out a smooth and peaceful evacuation beginning Tuesday, January 20, 2026.
For the car dealers, we've had engagements with them. I mean, when Mayor came, we've had engagements not more than 3 with them, you know, series of engagements. They've come to my offices severally. They call, they know the challenge, you know, because Kumasi is a built-up area. You can't find big space, any free space for them to occupy. So we're trying to get pockets so that they can all go. And we've been able to identify some pockets for some of them. And they will go. I mean, you see, with the car sellers, it's not difficult. Moving vehicles is not a big challenge. So nothing will be demolished. Let me use that word. The only thing that stands in the way of demolition will be that temporary structure. The temporary structures along the road. If you're running anything of an economic venture, you would have to find space yourself. You know, but over the years, attempts have not been made by them to find space. It is not our work to find space for them. It is not our responsibility. We are doing it to show empathy with them and all that. So those that will be able to relocate, will relocate. Those that we are unable, I think they will find space, you know, somewhere. Yeah.
So tomorrow it's happening.
Yes, it's happening. Oh, some of them have started moving. So it's not going to be that militant. Don't expect a militant action from KMA. Let me use that word again. It's not going to be militant. It's going to be simple. It's not going to be militant.
It's 12 days to the New Patriotic Party flag bearer elections, and the campaign is heating among the candidates as former Agric Minister and contender Dr. Brian Achampong has questioned opinion polls that project Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia as favorite. On January 31, the 5 candidates will go to the poll to seek election to lead the party into the 2028 elections. All 5 are currently touring the country campaigning on internal party matters, national issues, especially fallout from the 2024 general elections. Let's start from the camp of Dr. Brian Achampong, who insists Dr. Bawumia has lost popularity among party folks and must not be voted for.
We vote, you will usually realize that the presidential candidate receives more votes than the parliamentary candidate. This pattern changed in 2024 when parliamentary candidates performed far better than the presidential candidate.
Over 75% a year presidential.
You are very convincing. Sami Awuku secured over 8,000 votes. Yet, when it came to the presidential election, those same voters did not vote for Dr. Bawumia.
271 and 201.
Now let's go to Dr. Bawumia's camp, where the Member of Parliament for Kwabri East, Akwasi Achampong, has described him as a visionary leader and expressed confidence that he will secure a landslide victory in the upcoming NPP presidential primaries. He spoke during Dr. Bawumia's campaign stop in the Ashanti region. He says the former vice president's role in Ghana's digital transformation drive clearly sets him apart from other contenders.
Let us emphasize Obiya Juma, media debiya meka, and you can get me wrong or you can get me right. But the basic and bottom line, I don't want somebody debiya meka say, ye MPP for enyan tokwa na ye kom, akonyo na ye atona edishye eba. Enti obi obeba bia no yemfa ani die ma na mum ye obi obetumi aye adwuma no no aye ne ye den waye ne yie. Mamika Dr. Bawumia wasem kakra nkyerem so. Obi a oye friend no deep thinker. Obi a se otnase a oman ni mu problem a ekọ no na watnase apɛ solution. Enti digitalization. Se wokɔ UK a na adia baako a no se credit rating system. Na me wo UK 2002, 2001. Na credit system, rating system, ewo ho. Enti asema no person ode ba no. Wa Canada da adanani asi enyeye. This is a man of vision. Ne campaign bi a oye bia, if you have observed, onko obi a ho asem. He is always focused on what he wants to do. The opesa oye ema Ghana tumpon.
Meanwhile, Dr. Osei Yaweduchum has presented himself as the best candidate to unite the party after the primaries, calling for restraint in the party's move to expel Professor Frimpong Boate following his extreme criticism of the party. He spoke on Newsfile.
I'll tell you one thing. I'll appeal to the party leadership to really calm down. In our culture, even age, just mere age, right? That you are older, you should be respected. But you have somebody who has accomplished so much in his life. It's a two-way street. The party gave him a platform, but he also enhanced the party by bringing his expertise to the table. At the time when we were in opposition, a surgeon of his caliber being part of the party was a plus for the party. So even if some words are said that we don't like, we have to find a way to deal with it in such a way that we do not create a situation where he's further vilified through comments by many other people. I will appeal to my brother, older brother, who I really respect. I used to serve as a member of his ministerial advisory board as a deputy minister at the time. And I worked with him closely as a member of his ministerial advisory board. His passion for innovation, for environmental issues, and many other things is worthy of commendation. So I appeal to him to also calm down and cool down. Better days are coming. When Dr. Edishum is a flag bearer, we are going to bring parties together.
You're welcome back, and you're still watching JoyNews Today. Let's settle for some business stories. I am Michelle Lejekum. Now, some oil marketing companies are calling for the removal of the fuel price floor policy, arguing that it is preventing further reductions in fuel prices at the pumps. There's more in this report.
Our Petroleum Authority in February 2025 rolled out this policy that will ensure that no oil marketing company sells below a certain price. The move was part of measures to prevent what they call price undercutting in the industry. But some players argue that the current development in the market warrants its removal. Philip Tieku is the managing director of Star Oil and is one of those players who has been pushing for this policy to be removed.
Price floor, I think, denies the consumer of market opportunities. For example, we've had a period when the CD suddenly dropped from 12 point something to about 10.5. Because of a price floor, I can't sell my fuel below 12.
There has been several industry research and data that has shown that lower prices boost volume sales of these oil marketing companies. But also for the consumers, it reduces the cost of living and impacts on other sectors of the economy, like prices of goods and services.
Now, the National Petroleum Authority is rejecting proposals to remove the price floor program so that the various players can determine their values without restrictions. It insists current developments in the market still warrant this policy to protect consumers. Now, away from that, as emerging technologies continue to reshape entrepreneurship across the continent, Studentpreneur Africa Network has taken a bold step to empower young innovators with the launch of the Studentpreneur Innovation Festival 2026. Here is a report.
Has officially launched Studentpreneur Innovation Festival 2026 under the theme Freedom to Create, Emerging Technologies and the Rise of the African Studentpreneur. The event brought together policymakers, development partners and students, creating an enabling platform for mentorship, innovation and skills development through education and empowerment. Founder of Studentpreneur Africa Network, Claudia Chum, underscored the importance of deliberately supporting young people to drive national development through innovation and entrepreneurship.
Studentpreneur Africa Innovation Festival is simply bringing together young people, especially students, to showcase their innovation skills, talents to the nation, what they can offer to the nation. We chose it much for independence mindset, letting them understand what it means and then how they can give back to their country. We're looking at it becoming eventually a national impact day for the youth, that they will not just go waste their lives or go and have fun, go to the beach and then just go and drown, but they are using that day to tell the government that after all that you put in us, we have something to offer, and we're using this day to give back to our nation.
Director for Research and Innovation at the National Entrepreneurship and Innovation Program, Caspar Sunday Kampoli, called for targeted policy support for startups, particularly tax breaks and waivers. According to him, such incentives would strengthen the startup ecosystem and encourage more young people to venture into entrepreneurship.
The current government has realigned the VAT formula, whereby if your turnover is not up to 750,000, you have to charge VAT. So it means businesses turnover that is around 300,000, 400,000, they don't need to charge VAT. I think it's a good step that to support startups. So we need more of this for startups, that we think that they are on a good path, they are doing well, so we should give them this space for them to grow organically before we go to them to pay tax. So what startups in their early stages need is to exempt them from taxes. They should give them tax waivers. They should, support them if finances are there, like the Jumoro program seeks to do, where they are training at least 10,000 young people every year and identifying some of them and giving them grants. That we need more of that.
The main Studentpreneur Innovation Festival 2026 is scheduled to take place on 6th March 2026.
And that's how we wrap up on the business segment. I am Michelle Ejekum. For more business news, please log on to myjoyonline.com. Showbiz is up next.